And joining me now is one of Julia Gillard's staunch supporters, Health Minister Tanya Plibersek. Welcome.
Hi, Chris.
You've just heard what Robert McClellan had to say. He is one of a number in your caucus now who believes that this party is doomed under Julia Gillard, under all the available evidence. Isn't that correct?
Well, I think doomed is very emotive language. I think we have been having a tough time electorally, but certainly the sort of distraction that we've seen over the last few days doesn't help that. I think we've got an excellent record to talk about, and we've got a clear vision for the future. And I hope that on Monday, if this ballot goes ahead, that there is a decisive victory, and then we can all go back to doing what we went into Parliament to do, which is serve our communities.
But you can't convince the community that that's what you're doing, that you are a good government. You can't even convince, it would appear, 1/3 of your own caucus, and that surely is disastrous.
Well, you're picking numbers out of the air, Chris, so I don't think you can just assume numbers here or there. But the real issue is that we've been talking about ourselves for much too long. I think we need to sort this matter out on Monday. Julia Gillard has said that if she's not successful on Monday, she'll go to the backbench. I think it's very important that we get a clear statement also from Kevin Rudd that if he should not be successful in a ballot on Monday, that he will accept that his caucus colleagues have made a decision, and he will work as part of a team to get our message across, get out the fact that we've done phenomenally well coming out of the global financial crisis, get out the fact that we need to keep our economy strong so that we can build a fairer society.
But you've just seen what Robert McClellan had to say, and we've heard what Bruce Hawker had to say last night. It's quite obvious that the Rudd camp believes that if it gets close enough this time, that's just the start. This could go on for months.
Well, I think it's very important that people examine what that would do to the Labor Party,
What
and
do you think it would
most
do?
importantly, what it would do to good government in this country, our ability to deliver for the people that we care about. We've got this huge agenda for the future. We've just released the Gonski report. We want to engage with the National Disability Insurance Scheme. In my own area, I've got a dental report coming out next week. We want to do better on dental health care.
And all that would
things
be
that
trashed, though,
matter
wouldn't it?
for
All that
people.
would be trashed by a continuing leadership crisis in the Labor Party, and that's what's being promised.
There must not be a continuing leadership crisis. We must sort this out on Monday. That must be the end of it, because our record is not getting out, our successes are not making an impact on people, and more importantly, our plans for the future are being lost in these internal discussions. And Labor Party supporters, Labor Party members of the Labor movement need to hear us talking about what we're going to do,
Members of the Labor movement would be in
future.
despair at the moment when they would think that this generation of Labor politicians may well be ending the long history of the Labor Party.
Well, I think that there'd be very strong support for us sorting this out on Monday and then getting on with governing.
Was Kevin Rudd as damaging and destructive and dysfunctional as everyone now says? And if so, why didn't you say so at the time?
I'm not going to talk about things that have happened. I in fact, wasn't in Cabinet in the time that you're talking about. I was
You were
in the
a closer observer than anyone
ministry. No, and I'm not going to pass judgment on people. I have plenty of my own personal failings, and what I do every day is get up and go to work and do the best job I can for the people that I care about, that I want to serve. And I think the majority of my colleagues feel that way.
A number of Cabinet ministers today, and Prime Minister on down, saying that this is the case. Doesn't that show that as a Cabinet they were completely supine? They didn't actually speak up when things were going wrong.
Well, I think what the Prime Minister said very clearly today is that she worked her guts out to try and fix things that she believed needed fixing, and she did it inside the Cabinet processes, which is completely appropriate. In fact, I don't think this sort of public bloodletting does any of us any good. I think it overshadows our great achievements, and it overshadows our plans for the future, and really that's what people want to hear about.
With everything that we've heard, though, over the last little while, and we're going to hear a lot more over the course of the weekend as people try to bludgeon support one way or the other in caucus, how can you possibly unite after this and convince the people that you have united?
Well, I am confident that we can. You know, we just heard from Robert McClellan, who has, said in his interview that he takes a different position from me. I like and respect Robert, and I will have no trouble working with him on Monday afternoon, no matter what the outcome of this is. And I truly believe that the vast majority of my colleagues want what's best for the Australian people. And what's best for the Australian people is that we are able to complete the work that we have done.
Very briefly, could you work in a Kevin Rudd cabinet?
I've worked with Kevin before, I've served him loyally, but I must say I believe that Julia Gillard delivered the minerals resources rent tax, a price on carbon. We've now got education reform, disability insurance scheme. She has delivered complex and difficult reform in a very extraordinarily difficult parliamentary environment.
Tanya Plibersek, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.